day. It's a pleasure to have you here. A fresh wave of concern has emerged over the treatment of Nigerians living in South Africa after authorities began the repatriation of hundreds of Nigerian nationals found to be residing in the country illegally. The development comes amid renewed fears of over xenophobic tensions and growing immigration enforcement measures by South African authorities. South Africa's Department of Home Affairs confirmed that 586 Nigerians had been processed for repatriation after being found to have violated the country's immigration laws. The operation marks one of the largest recent deportation exercises involving Nigerian nationals and has sparked discussions about immigration policies, foreign relations, and the safety of Africans living outside their country home. The first phase of the operation took place on June 11, when a repatriation flight departed from South Africa, carrying more than 260 Nigerians back to their homeland. Authorities confirmed that the remaining individuals would be transported in a second flight scheduled for June 15, completing the removal of 586 persons processed under the exercise. According to South African officials, all affected individuals were issued emergency travel documents by the Nigerian High Commission to facilitate their return. The department explained that the process was carried out in accordance with existing immigration regulations and involved cooperation between both governments. South Africa's Home Affairs Department also announced that those repatriated had been declared undesirable persons under the country's Immigration Act. As a result, they will be prohibited from returning to South Africa for a period of 5 years. The decision reflects the government's broader effort to tighten immigration enforcement as authorities continue to address concerns over undocumented migration. Officials insist that the exercise is part of a lawful immigration process and not a targeted campaign against any particular nationality. However, the repatriation has attracted significant attention because it comes against the backdrop of recurring xenophobic tensions that have periodically strained relations between South Africa and several African countries, including Nigeria. Over the years, attacks on foreign nationals have triggered diplomatic disputes and public outrage. Many Nigerians living in South Africa have repeatedly expressed concerns about discrimination, harassment, and violence directed at immigrants. These incidents have often led to calls for stronger protections and government intervention. While South African authorities insist that the current operation is focused strictly on immigration compliance, the timing has intensified public debate about the treatment of foreign nationals within the country. Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber defended the government's actions, saying South Africa remains committed to enforcing its immigration laws and restoring the rule of law. He pointed to what he described as significant progress in deportation and repatriation efforts over the past 2 years. According to Leon, deportations have increased substantially as authorities strengthen systems designed to monitor and regulate immigration. He said ongoing reforms, including new digital identification and border management initiative, would further enhance the government's ability to enforce immigration regulations. At the same time, Leon urged South Africans not to take the law into their own hands. He warned against violence and vigilantism, emphasizing that immigration issues should be handled through lawful processes rather than mob actions or attacks against foreigners. Meanwhile, back in Nigeria, the first batch of returnees arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos aboard a special Air Peace flight. Government officials were on hand to receive them as they completed documentation, immigration clearance, and medical screening procedures. Many of the returnees reportedly left behind businesses, employment opportunities, and personal belongings in South Africa. For some, the return marks the end of years spent building lives and livelihoods abroad. For others, it represents a difficult and uncertain new beginning. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, alongside officials from various government agencies, coordinated reception efforts and support services for the returnees. Authorities also arrange temporary accommodation and assistance programs while families prepare to reunite with loved ones returning from South Africa. Speaking on behalf of the Nigerian government, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Sola Anikulaye, described the evacuation and repatriation process as evidence of the government's commitment to protecting Nigerians abroad. He stressed that the federal government remains determined to safeguard the welfare and dignity of its citizens regardless of where they reside. According to him, Nigerian authorities are actively engaging South African officials through diplomatic channels to address concerns affecting Nigerians living in the country. The minister also encouraged Nigerians abroad to remain law-abiding, stay vigilant, and maintain contact with Nigerian diplomatic missions whenever concerns arise. Officials say discussions between both countries will continue as efforts are made to address the underlying issues contributing to tensions involving foreign nationals. The latest repatriation exercise highlights a broader challenge facing many countries around the world as governments attempt to balance immigration enforcement with human rights, economic realities, and diplomatic relationships. For Nigeria and South Africa, two of Africa's largest economies, maintaining strong bilateral relations remains important. Yet, recurring immigration disputes and xenophobic incidents continue to test those ties and raise difficult questions about migration, security, and regional cooperation. As more returnees arrive home in the coming days, attention will likely focus on how both governments manage the situation and whether additional measures will be introduced to protect citizens while addressing immigration concerns. For many Nigerians affected by the repatriation, the immediate priority is rebuilding their lives. For policymakers, the challenge is ensuring that future tensions do not escalate into broader conflicts that could damage relations between two of Africa's most influential nations. What do you think? Should African countries adopt more open immigration policies, or should governments strictly enforce immigration laws regardless of the consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe for more breaking news and political updates. I'm Chidera Esum. Bye for now.